It's been a while since we've gotten an exotic sidearm in Destiny 2, and Devil's Ruin is the new exotic sidearm currently released today in Destiny 2, and this is a pretty unique sidearm and a very strong primary. Devil's Ruin is an adaptive sidearm. That means it fires at 300 rounds per minute and has 49 impact. This is actually my favorite archetype of sidearm, and it shares the same archetype as the Drang, which is my other favorite sidearm. It deals 51 crit damage and 35 body damage, and that results in a 0.6 second optimal time to kill with 4 critical hits and 1 second base time to kill with 6 body shots. It's got a pretty solid stat package with 64 range and 68 stability, so pretty high range for a sidearm, which is rather important, of course. 45 handling, 24 reload speed, 56 aim assist, 12 zoom, and 100 recoil direction. In terms of its stability, this was a very consistent weapon to fire. It felt like it had little to no deviance, screen shake, or weapon shake at all. It was just very easy point and shoot, very consistent. The laser beam itself as well doesn't really leave a mark on a wall, so you can't see the trace of it, I guess, but it's incredibly consistent vertical recoil with barely any deviance, if any at all. Range is probably the most important thing for sidearms for versatility, and the damage drop off on Devil's Ruin began at 16 meters using the single fire mode and 20 meters with its laser beam. The laser beam with perfect tracking will stop killing in 1 burst duration at 30 meters while hitting the body. I didn't bother testing the one-shot range on headshots because the likelihood of having perfect tracking on headshots at this range is quite unlikely. Overall, the gun felt pretty consistent and very capable at around 20 meters give or take. It felt very competitive with something like The Last Word, and it was a great tool to be able to counter shotgunners or special weapons while using a primary, which we'll talk about a little later. The first unique perk on Devil's Ruin is Close the Gap. It has a variable trigger, and you can press and release to fire individual shots. You can also hold to charge up a high-powered staggering laser, and of course, since this does stagger, it is strong against unstoppable champions. Its second unique perk is Pyrogenesis. Fully charging the laser refills the magazine from reserves. So let's talk about this laser beam and what exactly it's capable of and how it acts now. Of course, it has a 1000 millisecond charge time, so this is a 1 second charge time before it gets this laser beam functionality, and the beam deals 36 damage to the head or critical damage and 26 damage to the body. The time to kill on the beam is roughly, as far as I could tell, 0.36 seconds to the body, and its critical time to kill is 0.28 seconds. The beam itself lasts roughly 0.57 seconds. Now, if we were to include the charge time in the beam's time to kill, it would have roughly a 1.28 second time to kill at its best potential. Thanks to the Pyrogenesis perk, the beam pulls from reserves to reload the weapon once it's fully charged right before it fires, and then fires a laser beam that consumes about a mag's worth of ammo, even when the mag is lower than 15. You can literally have 1 bullet left, you can charge it up. Once it's fully charged, right before it fires, it reloads the gun and then consumes 15 bullets to fire that beam that lasts about the 1 second duration. Now, being able to melt normal enemies in less than a whole duration of the burst is pretty impressive, I'd say. However, what might be more impressive and really show off how powerful this ability is that you can actually melt supers. If you hit all headshots on a super and perfectly track it, which is of course unlikely, it does take just short of a full burst to absolutely kill a super. Now, if you only hit body shots, which is more likely, but you have perfect tracking, it'll leave them absolute one-shot. So on average, it'll do great damage to a super, but you're probably not going to one-hit them unless they're just very basically straight lining at you with not much mobility or evasiveness. However, just having that ability on a primary weapon is pretty strong. I'm sure that there are some of you that are wondering how the beam interacts with Mjolnir's trick sleeves, and well, it deals 34 damage to the body, 48 to the head, and results in a 0.27 second body time to kill and 0.2 second critical hit time to kill. That's pretty much everything I got for you guys that I think you should know about the Devil's Ruin. I think it's actually a very good weapon. It's incredibly consistent, it's very lethal, and most importantly, it's a primary weapon. I don't think it's absolutely free because it does have a pretty lengthy charge time, so the skill in it is going to be anticipating when your opponents are going to be rushing you and using cover while you charge the beam on it, and of course only using the beam when necessary. I think running around just trying to charge up the beam every time isn't the way to use this weapon. Use it as the great consistent sidearm that it is to accompany something like a scout rifle and pulse rifle and give double primary more viability, but the skill in it is going to be anticipating when you think someone might be rushing you with a shotgun, or perhaps when you're low on the mag after getting a kill, or maybe two, you can charge that last bullet or so in the mag into a beam to get a third kill or the next kill without having to reload. So it's great for multi-kills as well. Overall, I think this weapon is great because, again, it's another weapon in the sandbox that boosts the viability of using double primary and really punishes players that want to just hold forward at you with a shotgun, thinking they might not have any consequence. So that's really great for that. It's also a weapon that can test the last word, which is really, really great to see that there's something that can potentially outduel the last word. It's not quite as versatile, of course, but it does have the potential lethality, and you can use this with something like a sniper. Perhaps the Revoker is the main thing that comes to my mind, and I used it with if you're not looking to use this in a double primary type of setup. As always, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you found it useful, and if you'd like to see more content like this, you can of course subscribe to the channel or even check me out on Twitch. I stream pretty much every day, so check me out on Twitch if you'd like. I appreciate if you do. Hopefully I'll see you there, but if not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Again, thanks for watching and take care.